All right, welcome back. That was an energetic one, as always, from Kunga. You know, all of his music videos are very energetic. But we hope you'll be joining us on Friday on the show. So we'll talk a bit more about him. All right, going straight into our program. Our first story is on T.Y. Danjuma's controversial statement. Former Minister of Defense General Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma, retired, has accused the Nigerian military of prejudice, urging Nigerians to defend themselves rather than rely entirely on the institution for protection. Now, this statement coming from Danjuma, who was also a former chief of army staff, brings a disturbing twist to the country's insecurity crisis. The retired general charged Nigerians to depend less on the armed forces, which according to him are now biased in their operations. Now, he made the statement at the maiden convocation ceremony of the Taraba State University in Jalingo. All right, we have a video of him actually saying this, you know, with his own mouth. I think we should take that footage. When we're done with that video, we'll come back and then we'll talk about it.
Taraba is a mini state. It's a mini Nigeria composed of various ethnic groups living together reasonably peacefully. But the peace in this state is under assault. There's an attempt at ethnic cleansing in this state and, of course, in all the riverine states of Nigeria. We must resist it. We must stop it. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. The ethnic cleansing must stop in Taraba State. It must stop in all the states of Nigeria. Otherwise, Somalia will be a child's play. I ask every one of you to be alert and defend your country, defend your territory, defend your state. You have nowhere else to go. You have nowhere else to go. God bless our country.
So you heard it straight from T.Y. Danjuma in that speech. And before we go further, let me quickly introduce another guest that's joined us. Also a renowned journalist, amongst other things, Mr. Chuks Nwanne. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us. And of course, Mr. Godi Ofose is still here. Thank you.
I was actually waiting for him.
You're waiting for Chuks. All right. Now, we all saw that footage. We heard Danjuma's speech there. And the military has come out to warn Nigerians not to listen to the former minister and chief of army staff, saying that the Nigerian army is constitutionally charged with the responsibility of defending the territory and integrity of Nigerians. Meanwhile, some Nigerians have come out to applaud Danjuma for speaking out against the killings, while others condemned the former general and accused him also of killing Nigerians during Olusegun Obasanjo's regime. Okay, now, if this kind of statement was made by an ordinary Nigerians, I mean, point blank period, it will be a hate speech. You know, but coming from somebody like T.Y. Danjuma, whom a lot of people assume is part of the supposed cabal we have in Nigeria, because in different administrations, it's believed that he has the ears of the president, whoever is in government at that time. Maybe I should run us through his historical timeline and all that. He was part of the counter coup of July 1966 that saw the death of Aguiyi Rossi and Adekunle Fajri. Also in 1975 to 1979, he was chief of army staff under Olusegun Obasanjo as head of state then. He retired in 1977, and thereafter he went into business and started a petroleum, South Atlantic something petroleum. Well, anyways, he returned back to politics in the year 1999, and between 1999 to 2003, he was Minister of Defense, also under Obasanjo, now as a civilian president. He was a staunch supporter of President Buhari's ambition then during the elections in 2015. And with all of this, you know, people believed he was that close to Buhari and the administration. He was part of everything that was going on. And then for him to come out publicly and make such a statement.
Okay.
How did you perceive that?
Yeah, because some people actually, because some people actually think the speech was unacceptable and also rude and arrogant. Shooks, let's start with you. Do you agree?
Why do you want to start?
Yeah, let's start with you.
No, let's start with you. Go ahead.
Okay. You know, I think we need to review this word we attach to some people, and we say elder statesman. It comes with a whole lot of responsibility. When you say someone is an elder statesman, it's a whole lot of responsibility.
It's not about age.
It's not about age.
Okay.
It should be about being responsible and knowing that certain things you say, whether right or wrong, could trigger something beyond your imagination. So on that ground, I don't have problem with T.Y. Danjuma coming out to make all those statements. Yes, people have always been saying it. But the thing is that coming from a high-ranking person like him, I think that's why he's generating this controversy. It's not far from exactly what the IPOB members were saying. But for someone like him, who also ran the army, who was in charge of the army, who was in the system, who has been part of the people that put this country where it is today, I won't take it. Killings in Nigeria didn't start today. Where was T.Y. Danjuma? What was his position on Boko Haram? That killed like how many people? If you check how many people who have died as a result of Boko Haram and those who died with the herdsmen issue which he raised, how would you say that? I think what I'm beginning to look at it, that he has the right to air his own opinion, but I think he should be a statesman that he is. He should be very careful with making some statements, especially at the time like this, when we are trying to pick Nigeria, because Nigeria is in pieces. Let's accept it. There are a whole lot of security issues. And for someone like him, a retired army officer like him, very senior army officer, to come with that kind of statement public, it tells you that it is beyond the statement that he said. I think there's something happening in government. There's something happening in the seat of power. He's not the first to cry out. Obasanjo has written his own so long.
Then IBB too came out with his.
There is something that you and I don't know. And I know that someday we will find out why.
And of course, let's not forget that the three of them, Obasanjo, IBB, now Danjuma, were all generals.
We saw them playing draft in one of the old pictures. So there is something beyond. It is
playing out.
Playing out.
I think my friend Trix is not far from the truth. But I will beg to disagree with him on the issue of the elder statesman.
Okay.
And what I've always said is that if an elder statesman does not speak for commoners, common Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians, who will speak for us? What Danjuma said is what all of us have been saying in our offices, in our bedroom, with our children, with our friends. So I will tell me a loud whisper. If you look at that video, you find out that he wasn't reading it. It wasn't a speech. It wasn't a written speech. It was a speech delivered from the heart of heart. Do you understand? So Danjuma, as a former military general, you should know that he had some information you don't have. And he couldn't have come out to make those assertions without fact. Perhaps government has not called him to tender his evidence. Maybe I'm waiting for that, all right? The issue of elder statesman not speaking the truth to power. We are all alive today to see what happened in the past. During the previous administration, the current president actually made an allegation. It was on BBC, Hausa, that the government was targeting at the north, to disseminate the north. All right. Now nobody considered that a treasonable offense. Nobody considered that hate speech. Do you understand? We have seen that Obasanjo wrote a letter to Jonathan, claiming that he's training snipers that he will use to kill Nigerians pre to the 2015
elections. Yeah.
Nobody considered it a hate speech. These are all the informations. In Obasanjo's letter, he said he had evidence to that. And this man speaks, and he speaks as if he also has the same fact. So what is now left for the military to do is to prove him wrong by their actions. Because there have been a lot of, we just have that girl returned. You have seen the counter claims, the claims and the counter claims that went on with the police and the army. Isn't that a pointer to the fact that army knows something about some of these things? All right?
And sorry to cut you off, but also to point to the fact that there is no cohesion, with our security agencies.
Yeah, it has always been the issue.
Yeah.
It has always been the issue. On that point, I accept that. Somehow it seems, I've always said it, there's something wrong with our security, with the police, army. I don't know what it is, but the point I'm making is that if there's anybody to tell me about ethnic cleansing, it's not T.Y. Danjuma. We know his role during the civil war. What ethnic cleansing is more than the Nigerian Biafra civil war? Thousands of people killed.
Yes.
So people like that should not come to talk to us. We have their history.
Then who are those that should come and
speak
talk
to
to
us.
us?
What I'm saying.
Than people who know.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, why now?
Jokes, it's because
Why
it's
2018?
Jokes, wait. It's because it's getting
Why?
hard.
Then when
Jokes,
is the right time for them to speak
I'm
out?
saying-
Speak from the day one.
No, what is the day one? If things were not wrong from day one, how do you speak from day one? You wait until things get better. Some of these people, don't also forget that this present administration has actually appointed him as a chairman of the Northeast, whatever. Now, he was in bed with the administration. You mentioned it here that he was actually, patient said he was actually in support of Buhari presidency.
He was a staunch supporter.
Now, it's the same person that comes up. If that comes up from a man that has not been supporting Buhari from the beginning, you could understand. But now, it comes from a man who supports the same man, who supports the president, who continue to support the president. Perhaps he has made an overture to the president to speak to the president many times on this, or perhaps he has spoken to the president and the president has not taken an action, and he feels that as an elder statesman, as you called him, he should also say it. And believe you me, TY's statement is actually making some sense. You have not heard about killings in recent times since he made that statement. You have not heard about S-men killing anybody in any part of Nigeria yet. And as I'm talking to you now, government is also working on it. It's also investigating what he has said, the army collusion with the criminals to kill Nigerians.
Okay, but can we talk about how the message in this statement can be misconstrued? A lot of people can see it like a rise to arms. I don't know if that's the correct term.
That's exactly,
Do you understand
that's
what
my
I mean?
fear. Because when you tell people to protect themselves,
I
it's
mean,
it's a
automatically.
very open statement.
Yes.
And then you cannot stay there to now say protect yourself by,
I don't
speaking
say
out
exactly.
or by using
Not by
machete
carrying a weapon.
or by carrying arm. And this happened at the same time when the military was talking about taking away arms from people. And then so it's like, you know, I don't know why I don't want to. I try not to talk about T.Y. Danjuma's statement. I try to stay away because people like that shouldn't come to talk to us.
And that is where they misconstrue.
The point I'm making is that we all know we are running a democracy, but we know the role of former generals in all our democracy.
That's true.
From Obasanjo, Yaradua.
That's why I talked about the cabal.
So you see, if Baba Iyabo spoke the other day and Danjuma is speaking today, put 1 + 1. You understand? There is something within that seat of that we will find out very soon.
I just disagree with this point of who should speak.
That's
That is my problem, because if a former criminal, a former armed robber come out to tell you that armed robbery is bad, you should also believe it.
There's a place of repentance.
Yes, I am coming, sir.
An armed robber who was also a robber.
I am coming.
Who was responsible for robbing people.
Yes.
Coming to say robbing. No.
No, I did forgotten
Okay,
that.
then, and that's why I asked
that
the question.
our Lord Jesus Christ saved a thief. All right. When he was crucified.
Oh, how old is T.Y.?
So why, whatever age?
No, how old is age?
No, age is not in repentance. Whatever you do, if T.Y. had committed several offences against humanity, and
now
today
he's
they want to
retraced
say
his
that
steps, yes,
those
retracing
things,
steps.
we just had PDP apologize recently. We don't know what they apologize for.
Do you know I would have accepted T.Y.'s outburst if he came out to say I'm apologizing to Nigeria for what we did.
No.
And then put this
And that's
out.
why I
Because it
asked
was
you,
part of the problem.
Chicks, and that's why I asked you the question.
Yes.
Who is now the right person to actually speak out on Nigerians' behalf?
what
Is it
I'm-
you and I?
What I'm saying is, you know my position. By 2023, we should do away with this group of people ruling us. I'm not saying 2019.
How do you do away with them?
Politically, we should get involved. We should get involved. What I tell people is that the problem with the young people is that we don't get involved with party politics.
So let's face the matter.
You have to join party. All these people should be
See,
retired.
my challenge is that those who pro Buhari administration supporters have formed an habit. Now, what they do is that whoever that come out, a prominent Nigeria, whoever that come out and speak truth to power, quote and unquote, they will attack you, dig out all the things that we have done in the past, forgetting what you are doing right now, forgetting what you are saying, whether it's good or wrong, and they will attack you. My own is that if people like Danjuma keep quiet and this country burns, and they fly out because they have the capacity, they have all the wherewithal to leave this country with their family, and you will perish. If anything happens to this country, it will not affect them.
Not to leave the country.
They all have
family
houses.
are already out of the country.
Yes, they all have
so they are not
houses
here.
in
And you are asking people to carry arm against themselves.
Okay.
If you are telling Nigerians to
see why
defend themselves,
Danjuma
Nigerians to kill themselves.
It's not left for you. I'm coming.
When you are saying Nigerians should defend themselves, they are
It's
not
not
going to
left
kill
for you to
Mr. Buhari
it's
or
not-
Governor Ambode. They will kill themselves.
No.
You are telling Nigerians, you are putting Nigerians ahead in head-on collision
Truth,
with
truth.
But
themselves.
Chicks, don't you think Nigerians are wiser?
Truth.
No, we are not.
Truth, please let me say something.
Go ahead.
You see, if you listen, maybe they could play back the clip. The man said, defend your country. Defend yourself.
There's
Wait, I'm coming.
Hold
I'm
on.
coming.
Yes.
Add that line.
Ethnic cleansing, was it by killing?
No. When you accuse the government of ethnic cleansing, do you know what it means?
wait,
It means
wait.
the government is killing
Now,
one part of the country.
See, the problem we have is that it's because T.Y. Danjuma is saying it. Or Tom has said this. Fayoshe has said this. One of the solution this government have done to protect themselves is to create another security agency out of nowhere, backed by their state law. Fayoshe had hunters. What are they doing? Now, if Fulani S-men invade Ekiti today and the hunter fights back, the hunter fight back, now would you say that they have defended themselves or not? Now, when the Danjuma said defend yourself, he's also talking to the state government. He's also talking to government below the federal government, the local government. Because what is happening to in Benue State did not in any way affect the federal government. It affected the locals. Now, 73 people were buried before us. And you say that when such things happen again, people shouldn't, is it because it came from Danjuma? Even you yourself, at the beer parlor, at the place that we, at the beer parlor, your place of always getting news, we say all of these things. Do you understand? Because he has a place. I
thought you were not going to admit to that. We're all journalists. We know that we have such hangouts. Those
No,
kind of
he says
hangouts.
it openly. Chicks always say it openly. From the beer parlor.
from the beer parlor.
Let's get serious about it.
Okay.
Do you know my fear? My fear is that there's a mistake we make as a people, especially those of us who live in Lagos and big cities. We tend to think that every other Nigeria reason the same way. We tend to think that they all went to school like me and you. So we have that. You believe that when you say things, they understand it exactly how you said it. You might say one thing, interpretation will be
Exactly.
different.
People read different
That
meanings.
is why I'm saying for an elder statesman, you have to choose your words
carefully.
wisely.
Okay, but can we look at the content of this statement? Should we be worried, especially since he said, and I quote, "The armed forces now collude with armed bandits to attack innocent Nigerians." And he also said, if you depend on them to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. As a Nigerian, and seeing everything that's playing out, should we be worried?
I think we should be worried.
Especially with the kind of people we have handling our security.
Before I get involved in this particular angle, I want to take away TY out of it. I don't want to discuss TY Danjuma. I want to discuss the Nigeria of
Security
today.
issues.
The Nigeria that me and you are part of.
That's when you are
People like TY put us here, so I don't want to make it a topic of discussion.
even the president, who is the president today, all of them.
I said we'll retire all of them in 2023. I've said it here. They are going.
Why don't we just do it 2019?
No, it's not possible. You have to plan.
Why?
You have to plan.
Because
unless you're not telling yourself the truth.
Listen.
The truth is that
Anyway, that is the
Nigerian youths
topic
are
for
not
another
ready.
day.
Let's get into the issue that I wanted to address.
All right. Should we be worried?
I think we should be worried because, in this era of social media, things travel so far.
True. That's true.
And I wouldn't say people have not compromised within the military, and even the police. There's this thing about, it is no longer about Nigeria. It's about I come from this part of the country. I come from that part. There are possibilities. They have some few bad eggs, who are also somehow fanning this crisis or even getting involved in it. But to come out and to run down the entire Nigerian military is dangerous. You are telling people not to believe in the military force. You are just telling them that these guys are useless. You are saying the army, that's exactly your comment, the entire military formation. Which I don't agree with him. Sure. But we should be worried. And I think there should be disciplinary actions in the army. There was a case of retirement of some army officer. Was it 2016 or 2017? Those guys are still in court and they're asking questions. Why were we retired? Why were we retired? They've taken the army to court.
Yes.
I have a friend, one of them, who's a colonel in the army, who was also retired. In fact, this guy was retired while he was on foreign assignment in Ghana. And he was retired and accused of doing one thing or the other. And then it's also because he's from a particular part of the country. We won't take away that it happens in the army, yes. It happens. And they are still, as I'm talking to that matter, is still in court. They have written to Mr. President to intervene, and we don't have results. So things like that should also worry us. But that's not to say that if you depend on Nigerian army to protect you, you all die one by one. No, that's
all right. Cynthia is saying here, Chooks, you're already biased. He's there to express Biafra grievance.
He's not even talking Biafra.
He's not talking Biafra.
Do you know what? I asked the question, Chooks, then that do you think Nigerians are wiser? Because I haven't gone through social media, the comments from it. I can see a lot of Nigerians are now wiser, sort of.
They can
analyze from
statements
different
and issues
angles. It's
better
not the
than
same way
before.
in which we get
I don't think
before.
Nigerians are wiser. I don't subscribe to that.
Okay.
The challenge we have right now, especially on social media, is sentiment. It's sentiment. You see, Nigeria is divided today between Buhari and Jonathan. And Jonathan is not in power. Whoever that speaks against Buhari is supporting Jonathan. Do you understand? And whoever that speaks against Jonathan is supporting Buhari. And when you also look at it, Nigeria is also divided along the ethnic lines. In fact, Yoruba line has completely been blurred. It's now between the east and the north. Right now, the way it is. So if you want to get an objective commentary on social media, you will not find it. You will not find it. Myself too, inclusive, Chooks, my friend, we know how we battle ourselves on that space. But what I want to say is that we should be worried.
Okay.
Because a lot of things have gone wrong in Nigeria. Our military used to be our last hope. Our military is still considered in the entire Africa as the best. But I don't know the basics. I don't know how they rank all those indices. If a retired general come out to accuse the army, we should be worried.
Okay, all right, because of time, let's move it along and let's quickly look at a few feedbacks. This one says Nigeria is too hard to help. If you try to say the truth, people will complain. Are we going to remain like this? TY Danjuma is right. People are dying. Forget about the past, no matter who the person is. This other one, TY Danjuma has spoken well because the government of Nigeria have failed the common man on the street. That one is coming from Marcus S. Marcus from Bielsa. All right, Joel from Ife says, I support General Danjuma. He's saying what most of us are thinking and are scared of saying. It is time we learn to defend ourselves. The government has failed us.
Government hasn't failed. Tell him, government hasn't failed yet.
Okay.
Don't worry,
Okay, so many feedbacks, but we can't take everything, and our time is fast running. Let's move on to the next topic, which is on CPC warning NERC over arbitrary charges. The Consumer Protection Council, CPC, has warned the management and staff of the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, to henceforth desist from collecting illegal bill and charges from their customers or face severe sanctions and prosecution. The commission equally said that any reported case of unlawful disconnection of customers' electricity will be treated as a case of sabotage. Mr. Ofose.
Yes.
Yes. Let's look
That
at
is actually my footing.
Okay.
Because I'm a marketing reporter, first and foremost. And I don't see any sense in what CPC is saying. See, we are used to talking in this country. Now, if you go to let's use Lagos as our case study. If you go to Abulegba, you go to Agbado, how many people have meter? Just say postpaid meter, not prepaid. Now, what the CPC should say to the National Electricity Regulatory Commission is ensure everyone has a prepaid meter.
Which solves the problem.
Which solves the problem. Because NEPA has never come to my house and take down my wire. It can never take down my cable because I use a prepaid. If I don't pay, I don't use lights. So what the CPC should do, I know the DG is a very enlightened man, and he should know, because I went through their website every day. I saw what they are saying. Now, they don't even have the powers to fight NEC. Why? It's also a government agency after all. It's a government agency. If the government says, government has overwhelming interest in power, so you cannot from nowhere come and tell them, don't do this. When you know that 60% of the people in the rural areas are using light without meter. Go and check it. So I don't support what CPC is saying, and I will, if I'm asked to talk to the management, I will tell them this. I don't support, because if you have prepaid meter, you won't have a NEPA man or a PACN person coming to your place to drop your cable.
Exactly.
All right, now let me just because you're talking about the rural areas, because you still get to see NEPA officials, or rather PHCN officials, going to those areas. Is either they give you estimated bills, you will definitely have something to pay. And what are the process to actually get the prepaid meters? Because then we had the normal old meters that they have to come and read, or the prepaid meters. How easy is it for you to actually get those meters? Yeah, Chooks.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to finish what he started.
Yes, let me see. It's very easy. It may not be, the process may not be as easy. Ike Moku.
Yeah.
Is one of your analysts. He applied. It was given to him. And in Nigeria, I don't want to support any backhand deals. But if you are steadfast in what you're doing, if you are sincere, you won't pay a dime. If you go to, it applies to everywhere. If you want to get a national passport, international passport, if you want to get it fast, you have to pay. If you want to wait on the queue to get it, you won't need to pay. So all those things have implications. You see, you don't need to. What I want because these are the two agencies of government, CPC and NEC should come together and tell us how they are going to in 2020. Whether all Nigerians houses should have prepaid meter. Okay. Because if this happened, all this CPC, NEC, and this would
I think the issue of the prepaid meter, even that we're even still discussing it, there was even a deadline put on when everybody is supposed to have a prepaid meter.
That's exactly the point I wanted to make, because when I look at Nigeria, sometimes I laugh. I think one of the biggest frauds ever committed in this country was the privatization of the PHCN. One of the biggest fraud, and I wish someday we'll have a government that will be interested in opening that case. You sold NEPA. Let me use the common man's language. That's exactly, you sold. Okay, come. We want to sell our property, and then after selling the property, you now have to give the same people money to run something they bought from you. Secondly, in this country that me and you were, the discos used to collect 700 naira per house, per flat, or per anywhere they have it. 700. They called service or maintenance charges. Let me tell you, if I were the one who got that deal, you don't need to generate power again. Bring your calculator, calculate it. Every home in Nigeria, 700 per month.
But that has been removed.
No, hold on. It ran for how many years? It took a fasciola to come and stop that. If you sold that thing and you want, how do you think you will even have power? If you ask somebody to collect 700 flat rate for nothing, so it means if I have 1,000 naira to buy token for my meter, you first of all take 700 and sell 300.
Yeah.
Why would anybody want to maintain anything if you are getting that kind of money, free money? So this is why I'm saying, you see, the power sector, there's a whole lot of issues around it, and we will never get it right until we have a government that will be, bold enough to cancel that whole thing. Fashola is having issues with power because it's no longer NEPA when government ran it 100%. So there are things it cannot do because we've already given them out. It took me 2 years to get my prepaid meter. I paid in 2011 and got it in 2013. I had to petition them to get my prepaid meter. And I paid, I think it was 35,000. Yeah. So you see, meter people, I don't subscribe to the issue of some people are using power free. Why would you be a staff of any of the Gencos and you know that people are not metered and they are using your light free and you are keeping quiet?
Because
the same people are using
But
it
those
as a
estimated
fraud.
bills are actually not. It's always high.
It's a fraud.
Because that's where they even make more money.
That's where they make money, and that's why
Yes.
they will never allow those places
to get
be metered.
That's it.
Illegality begets illegality. Nobody will come to me and say, Godi, I will give you estimated bills. See, if my landlord wrote to me and said, we want you to produce your receipt that you have been using now, the prepaid meter. And I said, for what? He said, because he said in other properties, some tenants who has a prepaid meter have circumvent that, bypass it,
Which is a criminal
Which is a
offense.
criminal
It's a
offense.
criminal
Yes.
offense.
Arresting
But
people.
that's what
I'm
most
coming.
people are doing.
I'm coming.
Let's be real.
Now, and you will be so sad that NEPA officials will go to that place, drop the wire, all right? And you say, why did you drop the wire? They are using prepaid. They found out because when they came to my place, they asked to go around and check how I'm using. And they were satisfied that I was still using my prepaid. And the other tenant up was still using our own prepaid. So now, if you go around and find out that NEPAs are doing it, because these are the ways that they are making money, those monies that goes through dropping off, because when they take your wire down, you have to come and pay
For
Connection.
to get the,
Yes.
to even get the wire first, and now pay another person, electrician in the area, to
go and
reconnect
reconnect
it for you.
it.
Which
Yes.
is wrong. Because once you pay your reconnection fee, it's the duty
of
of
the
the
NEPA official,
PHCN
yes.
to actually
Why
pay
do I
that.
still,
CPC
why do I
should not
still
even
keep
go there.
calling them NEPA?
Because
I
they-
think
CPC should not go there.
They
I don't
never
know.
change. That's why.
Exactly.
They, never, they can
because
change
I
them,
didn't
but
see
they've
any
not changed.
difference.
There's nothing.
When they changed from NEPA to PHC, and there was really
Look
no
at what
difference,
somebody
so.
told me. Somebody told me, and which I think is true. I made my own investigation. I found out that actually what these current discos do is that if this is a transformer and you are a marketer, they actually give you
A target.
target.
Yes.
So it's not about what they are using. So you say, oh, this transformer
There's
should
a
give
target,
us 10
yes.
million. How you go about
Yes,
it is
it's not
up
their
to them. So
business.
that's why
so.
you have some of these problems.
Yes, that's true.
It's
Okay.
target.
All right, CPC, we understand you're trying to protect the consumers, but we cannot put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing to do is ensure all homes have prepaid
Prepaid
meters,
meters.
and then we'll now start talking.
Yeah.
All right, because of time, let's move it along. Our last topic this afternoon is on MMM. MMM founder dies at 62. Russian businessman Sergei Mavrodi, whose MMM pyramid scheme deprived millions of Russians of their savings in the 1990s, has died of a heart attack. Reports say the 62-year-old was rushed to a hospital late on March 25th, which was on Sunday, following complaints of chest pain. He died several hours later. Now, the Ponzi scheme came into Nigeria in the year 2016, and many people rushed at it, made gains, invited family members and friends who invested millions of naira. While some Nigerians lost money, some made gains. In fact, we went on social media and we saw how people reacted to this story. One particular man, Samuel Alozie, he believes it's Nigeria's juju that killed the man. According to him, and I quote, "You died well. In your next life, you will not come to Nigeria to do business. You packed people's money and ran away. You will have no rest anywhere you go." All right.
And some actually said they're actually looking for their Shoebi.
For to the burial.
To the burial.
Wow, trust Nigerians to make a joke of everything. But let's talk quickly.
I'm not a fan of Ponzi scheme. I've always said it's a fraudulent investment tactics. You can't see. I was one of the people that spoke against it vehemently when they came. I even banned my family, any member of my family, to get
To be a
involved
part of it.
to get involved into it. So I feel that this man, when he was alive, we didn't hear so much about him, because I keep asking when they said the MMM has closed down. I asked who owns it. Why is it that when in his death we are now celebrating? Because it's about celebration. The man who helped a lot of Nigerian commit suicide. I don't know whether you are aware.
Yes.
When that thing closed down, a lot of people
lost their lives.
A lot of people lost their life investment. Because if I talk to Chooks, I say, Chooks, I've just made so much money from this thing. Chooks will be tempted to join. Perhaps he has seen his best friend enjoying the free money. Because it was a free money. And I said, look, this merry-go-round will not continue. At some point, they will stop because they are taking Alero's money to pay me.
Robbing Peter to pay.
And by the time they want to pay, when the money is big, because they are waiting for you to make a huge investment.
Yes.
People test the water first by, let me do 5,000.
They want 5,000
7,000.
Yes.
From 7,000, 10,000.
Yes.
From 10,000, 100,000.
Exactly.
Because by the time you must have that chain, that value chain, you have collected like about 3 times. And you now realize that some even went as far as borrowing to invest.
I mean, we heard of the
I don't know,
the widow
you should ask
who
Chooks
put
whether
all
he
her
participated in it.
Pension money in it.
You should ask Chooks because I know a lot of journalists too.
Okay, Chooks. Did you ever do MMM?
You know, for me, MMA was dead on arrival. There are things I don't get involved in.
But you know what? But sorry to cut you short, Chooks. But do you know some people actually on social media are thinking that this death of a thing might be a scam?
It's not. I don't think
I think
so.
the man is dead. because
The man
it's
is dead.
official.
It's official.
But what I'm saying is, 2 things we are responsible for what happened to Nigerians with MMM. One is the fact that it came at a point where our economy was down. So people were looking for a means of survival.
We have
Secondly was greed. And I remember the government came out openly to say,
CBN.
the government, CBN, all the agencies, they warn Nigerians, stay away from this scheme. Stay away. But when a man is already dying, death is nothing. So some people just, whatever, at a point, you go to banks and people were doing more of withdrawals. They were taking their money.
Yeah.
Or to go and pay him.
Even the bankers were
They were in it. Yes.
involved.
Yes.
Bankers were involved.
The guy who brought it into Nigeria, he had a society wedding. Because
A lot of people
he made
made
so
money
much
from
money.
that.
Yeah, a lot of
Those who
people
started
made
from
money.
the beginning made a hell of
They
money.
made money. I know someone who bought a
don't
car
also
from
forget, apart from
MMM.
MMM, there are several other Ponzi schemes.
A lot.
Yes,
a
and
lot.
that's why.
Even there is a man from my place who also went to my place. But see, this
All
is
right,
why-
I'm afraid that's as much as we can take. Quick last words in 10 seconds, Mr. Ofose. 10 seconds. Quickly.
I want to appeal to CPC because it's my area to do the needful, talk to the regulatory agencies in power to ensure Nigerians have prepaid meter.
All right, Mr. Chooks.
I won't go the area of prepared meter. I want to talk about the area of security. I'll take few words.
Quickly.
Few words. One, Nigeria cannot afford to go to war. We cannot afford another crisis.
Yes.
If any crisis erupts in Nigeria today, the entire Africa will be in trouble.
That's true.
No country can manage our population.
We don't want any
That's
war.
why we need to find a way to have peace.
All right, many
Thank
thanks to
you
Mr.
so
Chooks
much,
Nwanne, who joined us today. He's a journalist. Also, Mr. Godi Ofose, President, brand
Journalist.
journalist of Nigeria.